Okay, folks, so I have a couple of these time-lapse videos, Star Trails and Polaris. This one here is from the 30th, and it does something kind of curious, but it's interesting to me because it does it with all of the stars, so it's almost as if something happened where the camera shifted, and you can see it right there. It does something kind of curious, and which is a little bit different than what some of these other ones were. Um, let's see. I think I put that into, yeah, there it is. Here it is. I put it into the Clip Champ, and I slowed it down and then just kind of changed some of the color and stuff in it. You can still see there's a little bit of a pulse going on there. There's a lot of energy coming from that direction, that's for sure. But you can see it does some kind of a weird, glitchy looking thing here, but it does it with all of the stars, so it's almost as if it's something with the camera movement. So I don't know. Usually I set the camera and I go in the house into the AC because it's been over 100 degrees at night even around here. So I don't know when it would have been bumped or if it would have been bumped to kind of cause that kind of a shift that it did right there like that. But I mean, it's a little bit different than what some of the other ones were. So this is the very beginning frame of where it first starts out. It's kind of interesting. It doesn't quite get as bright until after it plays for a couple seconds or records for a couple seconds. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of curious. And yeah, I don't. I mean, it's a little bit different than what has been displayed in some of these other ones. So I don't like this one here. I mean, when this thing popped out in the time lapse video, I don't think that's got something to do with the camera moving because this only appeared around Polaris, and there was the same thing, with these other things. The only time that it appeared is around Polaris, and it didn't really affect any of the other stars. It didn't appear around any of the other stars at the time. So that tells me that it's something that's isolated to you know that part of the sky up there with Polaris, like this right here too, where this thing pops out. I don't think that was necessarily the camera moving on that one. And it's the same thing with these other ones too. One from just a couple nights ago from the 30th, you can see where all of the stars are affected by whatever, happened there. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, that's this one. You can see they're all kind of jacked up and there's a couple of them that have that, stray light that comes off it right there. Oh, that was the beginning one. Let's see if I can find it. That's not it. Yeah, because if you look, these ones out here are doing kind of the same thing that Polaris does. Like herky jerky and the light gets shoved out. But I don't know, even like this one here, in this one, it was only Polaris. None of the other ones were all jacked up. It was just Polaris. And again, that little object only appears around a Polaris in this one. And then this one here, kind of the same thing. It was only the object only appeared around Polaris, and you can see there's not anything else going on with any of these other things. So this here, I think, was an object that the camera captured up there for certain. I'm pretty certain that's what this one was too, right here. I mean, you could see where all the other stars are kind of jacked up a little bit. There's a little bit of a disruption there, but Polaris is the only one that's got this extra little thing going on here, and I think that was another object as well. But I think this most recent one from the 30th, where they look all jacked up, I think that might have been something with the camera moving or something somehow. I don't know how. I mean, like I said, because I'm repetitive, I'll say it again. I usually set the camera up, and then I go back inside the house in the AC. Typically, there's no one out around the camera and the tripod when it's going, so I don't know what would have caused it to shift like this. But I do think that that's what this particular capture here from the 30th was. So, but these other ones, I don't. I think like this one here was an object. I think that was up by Polaris. This one here as well. I believe this was an object that the camera captured. Same thing with this one here. I think that was an object that the camera captured that was up there. But here a couple nights ago, I think this was probably something to do with the camera movement or something. I do know that we've been moving a little bit, that the ground itself has been kind of shifting and moving around here. It's been kind of like we've been on a boat. And there's been a couple times in the last couple of weeks when we had a very sharp, herky jerky movement to the east, which would be in the direction that this thing was kind of shoved. These lights were shoved. But I don't know if that's related. I don't think it is related. I think this is maybe the camera got moved somehow by something. I don't know. But it is kind of weird that the Polaris light, you know, would jerk off in the one direction, but then continue on here. It is kind of interesting, but I don't think it's an object or anything. And then for the 31st, um, since the lights were out in the front of the house facing to the east, the street lights were out, I went ahead and just set up a time lapse out face towards the east, let it roll on like the night sky recording, and you can see all the air traffic. This is the flight corridor right in through there. So nothing real exciting. I mean, you can kind of see the energy from where the sun is off here in this direction because the sun is moving off in this direction here towards the north, and you can kind of see the sun's energy. You know, the I don't know. I just thought it would be kind of interesting to face the camera off in a different direction that I normally wouldn't face it. Then this here is looking off to the southeast of our location. You can see the direction that the stars are moving, just kind of moving across the sky. And you can definitely see the flight traffic because we're right down in a flight corridor for Harry Reid. So anyway, it didn't seem like anything too spectacular, just a bunch of lights moving through the sky in a different angle than normal than what I normally would capture. But I might try to set the camera up and capture the southern sky, time lapse at, different times, maybe try to shake it up a little bit just to do something a little different. And you can kind of see there's like an energy flowing out from what would be the central point to the south towards what they would call the South Pole. But it's real fine waves if you see it right there. You can see there's really fine waves. Whereas in these other ones, some of these waves that are being sent out from the north around the sun are a little bit wider, not as fine. But anyways, yeah, that was the latest thing. When I was looking at it on the camera, it looked to me like this was something a little bit more than what it actually is. But I think myself personally, I think somehow the camera got moved or something on this particular one right here. Or the camera picked up the little bit of shift and movement in the ground that we've had lately or something. But yeah. But these, I don't know. These ones, I think that was an actual object. And because I'm repetitive, I got to show them again. I think that was an actual object. I think that was an actual object. I believe that was definitely an actual object. And the same thing with this one here. So anyway, that's the latest from Polaris. And then I do have a couple of just regular, captures of Polaris pulsing and doing some interesting stuff too that I'll put at the end of this video if anybody's interested in watching that. But yeah, anyway, that was the Polaris video I was talking about. I thought it was a little bit more exciting than that, but I don't know. You form your own opinion on what you think is going on there, but I think it was the camera shifted in this particular capture here. So stay safe and mindful, folks. Know that I appreciate you and that you matter very much to me. And there's definitely more to come if I can help it.